we are in the, I would say, under the spotlight in many ways, be it by young people in the streets, and also with the yellow vest in Paris streets, since we're in Paris. So we are at the center of people who want to cut any oil and gas and fossil fuels, I would say, production and demand. And at the same time, people want to have more energy and cheaper energy. So it's a very difficult paradigm we need to solve. And our industry has to make people understand what they can deliver. And be it CCUS, be it hydrogen, be it reducing methane emissions, that's really the key things we need to convey. And the big challenge is not being perceived as just a fossil fuel industry. We are oil and gas, and in terms of oil and gas, in particular gas, but also our oil when it's not burned, but gas can certainly help decarbonizing today from coal to gas shift, and also later on from natural gas to hydrogen. So that's really the message we need to convey, and not only to the policymakers, but also to the public at large, because policymakers do listen to the voters, and therefore if people are not convinced in the streets, we won't be able to convince policymakers. So that, I would say, is the first perception challenge we have. The second one is a usual operational challenge, which is that our production is declining a lot, between 5 and 7%, depending if it's oil and gas fields. And therefore, these declining fields have to be replaced. Otherwise, we will never have enough oil and gas by 2040. And again, it is something that people do not understand. They would like us to stop any investment. But if we do that, we would be in a terrible situation economically wise and energetically wise as well. So you have this both, but the first perception challenge is the biggest one. Yeah, actually I would say a future, you have near future and longer term future. In the near future, clearly the coal to gas shift and is something in particular in power generation sector is key. And when you look globally in the EU, 70% of the emissions in the power sector are still coming from coal. So this is totally unsustainable. It cannot last. We keep talking about this the last 10 years in Brussels. So what? What are we doing? So we need to deliver that ASAP, not in 20 years from now. When I'm hearing Germany is focusing in shutting their coal power station in 2038, it's a joke. It's just a joke. Last week it was Greece that we decided to close them by 2024. This is much more, I would say, much more acceptable. Okay, that's near future. Also in transport we can bring a lot in the near future. For instance, the maritime sector, the shipping industry, could shift from heavy fuel oil to natural gas, and LNG would meet immediately the 2021 and beyond targets from the IMO's International Maritime Organization. So we need to deliver much more there, and the shipping industry has to invest with us, the natural gas industry. So this is a very short term, I would say, that we can deliver. Then you have the longer term, indeed, when the more renewable you will get, the more interruptibility and the more, I would say, strength, the more pressure you will put on the power grid, and therefore natural gas will jump in as much as necessary. And even in a country like France, for instance, because there are more and more renewables, although still at a very low end, they are building new gas power plants because we are the flexible ones to accompany the transition. That's already a challenge today, to meet the 2030 targets, but let's say they are met indeed. I think the next step will be to try to become carbon neutral by 2050. It's already in the pipe. We know that that's the ambition of the Commission, to become carbon neutral by 2050, to be the first continent, the first block of countries to become that way. And therefore, I think our industry has an extremely big role to play to help delivering that, help deliver that, and through CCS, through hydrogen, through many solutions that we do have, but also in terms of oil and gas, but not only, through renewable investments, through, as I said, blue hydrogen development, green hydrogen, we can really help the EU to meet all these targets. Also, we should make sure that EU is using its soft power to impose other continents to deliver this kind of, and to share the same objective, which is to save the planet. And one way would be to impose a carbon tax at the imports, because it doesn't help really to offshore all our industrial activity and to reduce our emissions. So it would be for us to focus on not only the emissions, the CO2 that we are emitting in Europe, but the one we are consuming, the one that we are importing through goods from whatever country or block of country. And therefore I would say that's also should be part of the Green Deal that is being discussed in Brussels. EAGC is one of the two biggest conferences for natural gas, and the first reason is to listen to other people that are not from the industry. Today that we listened to Brian in Worthington, and it was really fascinating. Although I meet with her regularly, to listen to her in a public stage like that makes a lot of difference. She's calling on the industry to take action, and it's very, very important. And it's also very important for us to say what we're doing to these people as well, publicly, I mean. And therefore it shows commitment from the industry to deliver what we're saying, not only blah blah and promises that we would never deliver. That's not the case at all. So it's really to make us progress in terms of commitments, being more political, being more willing to be more taken seriously about what we want to achieve. But of course also to network. And I think the networking part of this kind of conference is key. And I would say, appreciative that you organize it in Paris today, because it makes it a little bit different. It's not always London or, you know, this kind of thing. So you have to change location. And when it comes to IOGP, we perceive three different main regions from oil and gas. And let's reflect on it together if you wish. You have the North Sea, you have the Black Sea, and you have the East Med. And I would say we could try to organize this kind of conference around those three main areas of gas production.